on cue, it's Valenzola for three. There's the active hands for Dahlgren again. This time she secures the steal. Absolutely dominant performance by the Lady Scarlet Hawks tonight, offensively and defensively. Kate Irwin, 1,000 points. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again inside the gymnasium at Milford High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call as we continue our coverage of the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks basketball team. Tonight, the girls welcome in a former Davenport Division rival and current member of the Kelly Rex Division in the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. Milford comes into the matchup still in search of that first win on the season. They are now 0-10 overall on the year, taking on an Oliver Ames team that is currently in a tie for third place over in the Kelly Rex standings. They are at 6-4 overall on the year and 5-3 against Hockomock League competition. And for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, they made a bid early on in the game here at the Milford Gym last Friday night for their first victory of the season. It was a strong offensive start, one of the better offensive periods of the season for Milford as they scored 11 first quarter points against the Stoughton Lady Knights here at home last Friday night. They held a lead until about midway through that first quarter. Stoughton was able to put something together late in that first quarter. They ultimately took an 18-11 lead, and they did not surrender that lead for the rest of the game. Milford could only muster 5 points in the second quarter, 8 points in the third, and they ended up dropping the game to Stoughton by a final score of 67-32 to send the team to their 10th loss of the season. And so continuing to find themselves in 6th place in those Davenport Division standings. The year of rebuilding, the year of experience building continues for this Lady Hawks roster. More new additions to this varsity roster as we've started to see a couple of freshmen make their way up onto the varsity bench. We'll see if they ultimately see varsity action as this season continues to unfold. Grace Rizzio continues to sit, meanwhile, for the team, the lone captain on the roster, in street clothes once again tonight, so out of commission. And so again, another young nucleus of players will step on the court as the starting five for this girls team tonight. Hoping to get it done to put that first win in the column in this 2018-19 season. We'll see if they can do it tonight against the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. We will have the opening tip in this game when we come back next here on Milford TV. Time to get this girls varsity action started between the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. Quickly, we'll roll through the starting fives for both teams before we get this game underway. First for Oliver Ames, it is Sadie Homer, Alex Sheldon, Megan Holleran, Caroline Flynn, and Caroline Pepper. And for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks, it is Carly Ferreira, Ashanti Barreto, Jillian Mickelson, Emma Lawrence, and Katie Maeda. As both squads take the court. Maeda lined up against Alex Sheldon, experienced inside presence for the Lady Tigers, and she easily handles the opening tip. And Oliver Ames quickly gets into their offensive set and immediately feed it down low before swinging it to the near corner for an early three-point attempt. The shot no good. Now Ashanti Barreto trying for the steal. And an excellent idea from Barreto. She quickly closed in, nearly jarred that ball loose, and ends up winning possession for the Lady Hawks. And now Milford able to advance out of the backcourt briefly, but we've seen this as a tactic employed by a lot of opponents of Milford in recent weeks, making it difficult for Milford to get out of the backcourt as Barreto goes up for an early layup chance. Couldn't finish around the rim. Again, good speed, but just lacked that finishing touch. And then down the other end of the floor, it's Oliver Ames' Alex Sheldon who grabs the first bucket of the night. Barreto again now handling the basketball, speeding up the far wing. Can't find a pass partner. Now the ball jarred loose. Ferreira trying to track it down. And it goes out of play. They will say last touch by Oliver Ames. It looked like it might have grazed off the foot of Ferreira there at the end, but the officials put it back in Milford's hands. 13 seconds on the shot clock as Mickelson tries to feed it into Barreto. Now staying out on the perimeter, Ferreira unleashes the long-range shot. No good. Rebound right to Emma Lawrence, and she is able to connect on the shot. Lawrence had a tough shooting night here in the Milford gym last Friday. Also was called for a number of traveling violations in the game. But An early tied score here, a minute and a half in. And now again, it's Sheldon. Alex Sheldon, before the season started, was expected to do a lot to fill the shoes of the longtime scoring threat on this Lady Tigers team, Kayla Raymond, who of course Milford remembers very vividly. That was Caroline Pepper, meanwhile, getting the bucket to make it a 6-2 score. Pepper, a freshman on this varsity team, who's already grabbed some headlines for her play early on. So a flurry of shots all of a sudden for Oliver Ames within the last 30 seconds that puts them on top 6-2. We'll take the early timeout. 6:13 left in the first quarter here on coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout as again Oliver Ames looks to keep Milford pinned down in the backcourt. That pass barely finds its way to Maeda. And now Ferreira with the long pass ahead to Ashanti Barreto. Milford trying to use the numbers advantage up the floor, and they do as Emma Lawrence knocks down the three. And Lawrence has 5 early points here in the first quarter, and a 1-point lead now for the Tigers. Trying to respond right away with a 3 of their own, and there is Pepper. So Sheldon and Pepper combining for all 9 of Oliver Ames' points so far. Mickelson now losing the dribble, trying to redirect that one back to Ashanti Barreto, who ends up on her back. Now a 3-on-2 up the floor. The initial shot no good, and now the foul under the basket. They will count the shot. And Pepper now to the line. Chance for the 3-point play. Able to get the free throw. They call the foul on Carly Ferreira. Ferreira with the long outlet pass to Mickelson. She shoots the 3 offline, and Milford trying to break that press. They've been able to do it a couple of times, giving some open looks from long range. A make and a miss so far from long range, and now meanwhile it's Caroline Flynn who gets herself on the score sheet. And just like that, it's up to a 9-point lead. Here's Milford with a possible 2-on-2 up the floor, but Ferreira has the shot blocked. Now the loose ball picked up by Lawrence. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Lawrence. She tries for the give and go with Mickelson, who looked like she took some contact after the pass. No whistle, and meanwhile the ball ends up back in Oliver Ames' hand. A little give and go up the floor. And Caroline Flynn now up to 4 points. And Mickelson trying to charge up the floor, ended up stepping out of bounds. And Oliver Ames will take over. So we talked about it at great lengths in the game against Stoughton last Friday night. Turnovers just such a problem for Milford all season long. And a couple of turnovers here now already within the first 3.5 minutes of this game. Trying to get a little more confident in that communication and where each other is going to be on the floor. Ferreira trying to charge her way inside, had the ball knocked away. Stays Milford basketball with 16 seconds on the shot clock, 4:16 to go in the first quarter. An 11-point Oliver Ames lead. The ball loose momentarily again. Ferreira wins it back. Now gets locked up with Caroline Flynn. The jump ball called for. Possession arrow goes to Milford. Now Mickelson into Barreto, but it does not find its way there. Now back into Maeda's hands. She has it jarred loose, and this time they will say it goes out of bounds off of Milford. They had a chance to make something out of nothing there, but ultimately Maeda could not maintain control. Now out on the perimeter, shooting the 3 was Pepper. And she is now up to 10 first quarter points, and now nearly coming through with another 0-8 turnover. Mickelson able to save it, now has it taken away. Caroline Flynn with quick hands. Mickelson tries to get back defensively. The layup no good. Barreto holds on to the rebound, and she gets fouled. And I believe they will call the foul on Flynn. Barreto now able to use her speed to break the press. Now telegraphing that pass a bit too much to Ferreira. Now all alone up the floor is Sadie Homer. And that's now 4 different Oliver Ames players on the score sheet in this first quarter. The ball loose on the floor. Elise Fauerbach doing everything she can. And the refs eventually call for the jump ball, and this time the possession arrow points to Oliver Ames. 21 points already now in this first quarter for OA. Now the bounce pass down low, nobody home defensively. And that was Sheldon, who's now up to 6 points. Barreto gets it in to Lawrence. Now she gets closed off. And Lawrence very lucky to hold on to that pass. Now the cross court to Fauerbach, who tries to move it along to Adriana Crisafulli into the game. But again, the ball turned over. And Lawrence now with good tight defense in the corner. And that will flip the possession. Crisafulli and Fauerbach checking into the game for the first time. Maeda and Mickelson to the bench. Coach Oliver barking out instructions for his team for positioning. Trying to help them from the sidelines to break this Oliver Ames pressure. But Milford having all kinds of trouble just advancing the ball into the front court. Ferreira clean inbounds to Ashanti Barreto with 2:21 now left in the quarter. Ferreira unleashes a quick 3. Tried to get the bank off the glass, but no such luck. And now back ahead for Oliver Ames, and it's Caroline Pepper taking it to the hoop. 12 points and counting now in this first half. Impressive work from the freshman. Long pass. Took a long time to get to Crisafulli, but it does make it into her hands. Now Lawrence underneath the basket has her shot blocked, and it goes out of play. Lawrence goes down hard. In a little bit of pain, but trying to shake it off. Ferreira gets it into Lawrence. Now Lawrence loses the dribble, and it's plucked away by Sadie Homer, who finds Pepper streaking up the floor. She gets the basket and the foul. And how about 14, make it 15 first quarter points for Caroline Pepper with the point after. Chance for a 3-point play. Ferreira out, Maeda back in. So the foul was called on Elise Fauerbach. Pepper misses the free throw. Barreto able to pull down the rebound. Movement around the perimeter for Milford. Maeda now gets it back out to Lawrence. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Back up top to Barreto. Trying to find a lane inside. Instead, they lose control of the basketball yet again. Up the floor to Pepper. Fauerbach tries to get in her way, and instead, it just leads to another potential 3-point play for the freshman, who was raking in the points here in this first quarter. A chance to make it 18 with still 1:20 to go in the first. Despite losing a perennial all-star in Kayla Raymond to graduation this past spring, this Oliver Ames offense looks like one of the more dangerous attacks Milford has seen. Already 30 points in the first quarter. The ball will stay with Milford here as it's jarred loose and makes its way out of play. 19 seconds on the shot clock. Coach Oliver wanting to see energy, and the inbounds pass finds its way into the hands of Crisafulli. Now to Lawrence in the corner. Her shot over everything. Lily Borst trying to streak in for the rebound. And still Milford basketball with 11 seconds left on the shot clock. And into Lawrence. The defense lost track of her, and they pay the price. They say that's a 2. Looked good from 3-point range, but apparently The toes on the line for Lawrence, but it still breaks up an extended run for the Tigers, at least for the moment. Back up top to Sadie Homer. And another long two, this time on the Oliver Ames side. 32-7 in favor of Oliver Ames as we count down the final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Across to Lawrence. Krista Foley able to hold on to that pass. Releases the shot offline. And the shot clock turned off as Oliver Ames heaves it up the floor. Sheldon wasn't expecting it initially, but she's still able to handle the pass. And she puts in 2 more points. She has 8 first quarter points. 3 seconds left. Someone has to put up the shot for Milford. Barreto losing track of how much time was left on the clock, and Milford will not get a shot away before the first quarter clock expires. Oliver Ames putting on an offensive clinic led by Caroline Pepper, who has 18 points after just 8 minutes of play. And it has the makings of a serious offensive night for the Lady Tigers here in the Milford gym. They lead at 34-7 on Milford. We'll pause now and have the start of the second quarter next here on Milford TV. Oliver Ames will start the second quarter with Caroline Pepper on the bench. Certainly good news for Milford, as Pepper absolutely torched this Lady Hawks team over the first 8 minutes. Alex Sheldon also on the bench to open the second quarter. And the pass into Lawrence gets deflected and reeled in by the Tigers. Sadie Homer, who had 4 first quarter points, takes it up the floor before dishing off. The pass deflects, but Homer is able to track it down. Now they feed it inside. The shot by Tate Hedges misses. Now they swing it around for a 3-point attempt off the front of the rim. The miss by Allie Skolnick. A lot of offensive weapons on this Oliver Ames team, as Ferreira tries to take it to the basket, and she gets fouled on the way up, and she will shoot 2. Foul called on Tori Harney, her first foul. Katie Maeda back on the floor, replacing Lily Borst. Ferreira misses both free throws. And now the foul on the opposite end of the floor will send Oliver Ames to the free throw line. Katie Maeda committing her first foul. 4 fouls now for Milford, 3 for Oliver Ames. And more free throw misses. It's Haley Bourne at the line, another freshman, 3 freshmen on the varsity team for the Tigers. And making a miss for Bourne. Anna Murphy is the 3rd freshman. We have not seen her on the floor quite yet. Mickelson trying to drive inside, and instead turns it over. Continuing to work it down low with this current unit out on the floor. It's Bourne again trying to go up for the shot, and she will have another chance from the line. Oliver Ames coming into tonight's game averaging 55.1 points per game. They're also allowing 50.5 points per game. So offensively they've been solid, but they've also allowed some high point totals this season. As we mentioned, they come in tied for third place in the Kelly Rex Division standings. They are right now tied with the King Philip Lady Warriors. It is still the Franklin Lady Panthers that own the Kelly Rex. Perfect in league play at 8-0, 10-1 overall on the season. It's Foxborough and Franklin that are the class of the Hockomock right now in girls basketball. Mickelson nearly giving it away, then ultimately does so, putting it in the hands of Skolnick. Now again inside to the freshman Haley Bourne. Now the turnaround jumper for Tate Hadges. Six different scorers for Oliver Ames in this first half. Mickelson releases from long range. Looked good, but just did not fall for Mickelson. Now the long outlet pass up ahead. Skolnick loses it. Milford comes away. Here's Mickelson with a head of steam, now slows up. And to Ferreira, she will shoot the three and gets it to rattle home. Ferreira with her first bucket of the night. Milford into double digits, and now an easy trip to the basket down the baseline for Skolnick. Another new scorer added to the list on the OA side. Into the corner now for Mickelson. Trying to feed it inside to Barreto. It's turned over. A little bit of a casual pass up the floor, but no one there for Milford to take advantage. Maeda takes care of the defensive rebound. Now Barreto goes up for the shot and gets fouled. Takes hard contact. Goes down hard to the floor, and you can see she is in some pain. And instead, they call the foul on Milford. So the Lady Hawks turning it over again. Barreto gets pulled to the bench, and she is upset. A 30-point lead now for the Lady Tigers, 40-10. Now Lawrence, they quickly double team Lawrence. 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the second quarter. Active hands for Milford inside. Forces Oliver Ames back out. The shot no good. Oliver Ames able to fight for position to get the offensive rebound. And then Skolnick takes it back in. 4 points in the second quarter for Allie Skolnick. And another timeout is called for. That stops the clock with 3 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first half. It is now 42-10. Oliver Ames with the lead on Milford here on Milford TV. Emma Lawrence onto the timeout, up the floor. Milford trying to turn the tide here late into the first half. The third freshman for the Tigers into the game now, 0-0, Anna Murphy. Skolnick trying to go on her own personal run here, but that time the shot denied. And Mickelson up the floor for a three attempt that's offline. And Milford fighting for the rebound, the ball loose. Both teams fighting for it, and it will stay with Milford as Adriana Crisafulli was able to pull the hands in. Fresh shot clock. Ferreira gets it into Lawrence. Lawrence finds a lane to the basket. Can't get the bank, but does get the foul. You can see Milford trying to be more aggressive, getting inside and drawing contact, but the problem is the free throws have been such a struggle. Milford 0 for 3 now tonight. And 0 for 4. And the rebound goes to Oliver Ames. And Lawrence able to get the steal underneath the basket. Now weaving around defenders, trying to dish that pass off at the last second. Oliver Ames gets a hand in to deflect it, and it goes off of Milford and out. So Lawrence with the nice play, good speed up the floor, but the Oliver Ames defense too strong. Skolnick the feed underneath the basket to Jess Ehrlich. And a good contingent of this Oliver Ames roster now with points in this first half. Another long-range miss from Lawrence, 2:30 to play in the half. Lawrence trying to draw the charge. And this sends Haley Bourne back to the line. She is 2 for 4 shooting free throws in this second quarter. Able to make both shots. The lead up to 36 points now for the Lady Tigers. Fauerback ended up falling down underneath the basket, wasn't in position to try for the rebound, but Oliver Ames loses control of the basketball down the other end of the floor. Milford inbounds it as we come down to the final 2 minutes of the half. Mickelson trying to find a pass partner, gets it back outside to Lawrence. Ferreira trying to maintain the dribble, double teamed. Krista Foley holds on to the ball. Now Mickelson loses it and tries to fight for the jump ball, but ended up losing her footing and walks away in frustration. Back into the game, briefly with her hands on the ball. Now Mickelson drives inside, the shot offline. Barreto out hustles for the rebound and then loses the dribble. Goes off of Oliver Ames and out. Less than 90 seconds to go in the half. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. As they swing it back up top to Fauerback. Tries to get it to Krista Foley. It's Mickelson now. Mickelson trying to force a pass to Fauerback. Now Krista Foley gets locked up with Ali Skolnick. And possession arrow keeps the ball with Milford with just 3 seconds left on the shot clock. So Milford needing to catch and shoot. And Krista Foley instead sends it into the hands of Anna Murphy on the Oliver Ames side. And she airmails the pass over the head of Haley Bourne. Alex Sheldon, the senior, and Caroline Pepper, the freshman, who combined for 26 points in the first quarter, have sat for the duration of the second quarter. It has not slowed down the Oliver Ames offense all that much. That pass into the feet of Barreto and out of play. 42.4 seconds left. And Milford basketball. Showing good determination under the basket. About a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock as we come down to the end of the first half. Barreto with Haley Bourne guarding closely. She's able to cut down the baseline. And to the free throw line now, where Milford looks to hopefully convert for the first time. You can see every time Milford has a stoppage in play, Coach Dolliver is calling someone over to the sideline. Teachable moments throughout every game as this young Lady Hawks squad continues to gain experience. Coach Dolliver has been a very calm presence as he has had to play the role of teacher as much as coach throughout this last season. Barreto able to make the second free throw. And one last shot for Oliver Ames in the period. Perhaps not, as they have about a second left. And that one ticks off the hands. And that will conclude things here in the first half, and quite an offensive onslaught for the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. They cruise to a 48-11 lead at the half. And we will pause here and have the start of third quarter action for you in just a moment. Again, you're watching coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Welcome back inside the Milford gym. It is time to get the second half started between the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. A big lead for Oliver Ames, 48-11, as they control the basketball back with their original starting five on the floor. Jillian Mickelson making a bid for an early steal, but Owe tracks it back down. The long-range shot just offline for the freshman Caroline Pepper back onto the floor. And Oliver Ames battling underneath the boards, and Caroline Flynn puts in the first basket of the second quarter. It was Caroline Pepper, the freshman phenom, leading the way in points in the first half. She only played the first quarter. She sat for the entire second quarter and still leads all scorers with 18 points. Good effort under the basket for Milford. They come away with the steal, and Mickelson cannot maintain the dribble. Pepper and Sheldon were the two leading scorers for Oliver Ames, and both of them only played the first 8 minutes. Sheldon had 8 first quarter points. Both of them back out there to start the third. Here's Sadie Homer, a clean look from three-point range. And over 50 points very quickly for the visitors. Milford trying to get into their offensive set for the first time in the half, but instead Jillian Mickelson called for the travel. And if there's one thing, as you look for the little things to show improvement for this Lady Hawks team over the course of the season, that was just their first turnover, their first traveling violation of this game. Had quite a few throughout the night last Friday night against Stoughton. Here's Barreto now. She makes a nice move inside. Ends up getting fouled. The foul goes on Megan Holleran. Barreto now 2 for 4 shooting free throws in the game. Milford up to 12 points. That pass weaves its way into the hands of Haley Bourne. Now Mickelson leaves it behind for Lawrence. Count it from 3. That's Lawrence's second three-pointer. She had 7 points in the first quarter, was shut out in the second. Now with that 3-ball up to 10 points in the game, but Oliver Ames responds as Caroline Flynn hits from 3. She has 5 points so far here in the third. Now Mickelson, nice feed to Ferreira, who gets the runner. And a little bit of an offensive surge now for Milford. And good movement Finished off by Haley Bourne. Three good quick passes in succession left Bourne wide open. Now Maeda on the perimeter, and that pass might have gotten deflected. Now Bourne trying to keep it going. She misses, but there for the rebound and the putback was Tate Hadges. She had 2 first-half points. Gets the bucket here, a chance for a 3-point play. Back from the bench comes Adriana Crisafulli. She will replace Katie Maeda. The foul, meanwhile, went against Carly Ferreira, who now has 2. Hadges misses the free throw. Long, dangerous pass to Lawrence. Now inside for Ashante Barreto. Nice looking basket there. Milford now up to 19. Now a couple of steps inside. Caroline Flynn with 7 points now in the third quarter, and Oliver Ames up to 68. They again feed it to Barreto, nearly the same shot that she landed a moment ago. This offense just so fast for Oliver Ames. Milford struggling to keep pace. Haley Bourne had 4 points in the first half. They all came from the free throw line. She now has 11 points total in the game. And Jillian Mickelson taking it to the basket. That is her first bucket. So Milford with a much better scoring period here in the third than they had in the second. Just 4 total points in the second quarter. They have 10 here in the third. This has already been their highest scoring quarter of the game. They had 7 points in the first quarter. Caroline Pepper back on the bench now for Oliver Ames. And a lot of communication on the sideline right now between the freshman Caroline Pepper and her head coach Elaine Clement Holbrook. A player with so much raw talent, but I'm sure still a lot that the coaching staff is trying to instill in her. She certainly has the talent to be a force to be reckoned with in the Hockomock League for years and years to come. Haley Bourne really showing off some skill herself. Another freshman. That is 2 freshmen on this Oliver Ames team that have really shined tonight. And I think it is safe to say the future of girls basketball is very, very bright for the Lady Tigers. Mickelson able to track down the deflection. Oliver Ames up to 73 points now, leading 73-21. Not ready to take their foot off the gas pedal. And just to put this in perspective, Milford, their most lopsided final score of the season, came back on January 4th when they faced unbeaten Foxborough. Foxborough still unbeaten on the season. They have been one of the hottest offenses in the league. And Foxborough scoring a total of 71 points against Milford in a 71-19 win. So Oliver Ames tonight with 73 points. Still 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the third quarter. And so this has the makings of a memorable offensive night for Oliver Ames. We'll see what they can do here as they come down the home stretch of the third quarter against 73-21. OA on top of Milford here on Milford TV. The ball back in play for the final 2 minutes and 48 seconds now left in this third quarter. For Oliver Ames, they are well within reach of establishing a new single game high on the season. Their previous high watermark in terms of points scored in a single game came back on December 18th in just their third game of the season. They were able to defeat North Attleboro 79-45. They need just 6 more points in the final 10.5 minutes of this basketball game to establish a new point high. Here's Bourne. Nice bounce pass sent to Tori Harney, a sophomore, now with her first points. Barreto loses it. Mickelson finds it. Mickelson to the top of the key, thought about the shot, instead tries to feed it in. Was trying to find Carly Ferreira, who ended up getting knocked down. Stays Milford ball with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Now to Barreto. Barreto will shoot the 3 off the side of the rim. And Caroline Flynn now will take it back up the floor. Now Ferreira fighting for it. She wins it. And now Lawrence takes it ahead before handing off to Ferreira. Now trying to catch Mickelson cutting to the basket. The ball turned over, and Oliver Ames now taking their time. Tate Hadges handling the basketball, and a cut inside for Caroline Flynn. Is having a very successful third quarter, 9 third quarter points, 13 in all in the game. Now Krista Foley starts and stops. Now Barreto inside, and count it. Barreto up to 6 points with the free throw pending. .23 points now for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. Bourne, just such good instincts to the basket. 8 points from the floor in this third quarter. 13 points in the game. And Barreto has her pass intercepted. Oliver Ames couldn't handle it though. About a 5-second difference between shot clock and game clock. So come down to the end of the third quarter. Here's Barreto, gets a good feed. Seven points in the third quarter for Ashanti Barreto. 1 second to go, and Oliver Ames will allow the rest of the third quarter clock to run down, as they have now already tied that single game high on the season. Oliver Ames with 79 points with still 8 minutes left to go. They lead this game over Milford 79-25. And we will start the fourth quarter in a moment on this coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Oliver Ames with 3 freshmen on the floor to start this fourth quarter. Haley Bourne, one of those freshmen, had a terrific third quarter with 9 points. Of course, Caroline Pepper with a phenomenal first quarter with 18 points. She has not scored since, but she has played sparingly. As this ball is loose, Lawrence comes away. Both she and Barreto lose their footing going up the floor. And the result, the basketball right back in the hands of Oliver Ames. The third freshman on the floor, Anna Murphy, has yet to score. Here's Bourne along 3. No good. Rebound to Pepper. And now up top for Murphy. And a circus move to the basket for Jess Ehrlich, who gets the shot and the foul. Tori Harney and Jess Ehrlich, the other two on the floor. So this is an all underclassmen lineup for coach Elaine Clement Holbrook. 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores. Right now with the game well in hand. Coach Holbrook deciding to go with the youth movement. Barreto can't get inside. Still Milford ball as Mickelson now replaces Emma Lawrence. Mickelson calling for it off the inbounds. Thought about the 3, instead dribbles inside, can't make the shot. Pepper trying for the reverse lay-in, does not fall. Now poked loose by Milford, goes out of play. Milford, after this game tonight, will have their next 2 games on the road. They'll next be in Canton to face off against the Lady Bulldogs, who are 6-4 overall on the season. Easy look for Pepper, so there is her first points since the first quarter, now a 20-point game. And after Canton, Milford will travel to Attleboro, who has also had their struggles on the season, losing a lot of their senior core from last year. They are 4-8 overall on the season, 2-6 within league play. Meanwhile, our next Scarlet Hawks athletics coverage coming up in the week. We'll be back here in the Milford gym on Friday as the boys are back home facing their counterparts from Canton. Milford, the boys on the road right now facing off against Oliver Ames. Milford with a huge win. The boys did on the road against Stoughton last Friday, in which Brendan White scored a career high 40 points. And so hoping to build some momentum if they can grab another road win against Oliver Ames tonight. It'll put them in good position facing off against the Davenport Division leading Canton Bulldogs here in the Milford gym on Friday. So again, that will be our next coverage. The Milford boys against the Canton boys on Friday night. Should be a good one. Looking forward to bringing you that coverage. The free throws from Jess Ehrlich. 86 points. Not sure there have been too many times we've seen an 86 hung on the scoreboard here in the Milford gym. Barreto from her backside able to pull in that loose ball, and Coach Oliver calling the timeout to save the possession for Milford. So we'll head into a timeout with 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the game, 86-25. And points just keep on coming for Oliver Ames, and we will come back right after this timeout here on Milford TV. Milford with the ball back in their hands out of the timeout. Now the deflection to the near sideline and out. Last touch by Oliver Ames. Still 5.5 minutes to go in the game. How high will that final point total get for Oliver Ames? With every basket, they improve upon their single season scoring high. Mickelson didn't like the shot from the corner. Now Maeda, time running out. Barreto puts the shot up and just barely sneaks it in ahead of the shot clock buzzer. Now into Bourne. Bourne, the bounce pass back outside. And now the cutter inside for Caroline Pepper. And it looks like we will see over 90 here for Oliver Ames with still 4.5 minutes to go. They collect the rebound. Pepper keeps it outside with Tori Harney. Now underneath, up and in for Jess Ehrlich. And there it is, 90 points for the Lady Tigers. There's Mickelson back outside. Barreto, high arcing three offline. Rebound controlled by Jess Ehrlich. Oliver Ames really taking their time now. Bourne passes up the shot, gets herself out of trouble. And now the long two, misses everything. Now the ball ends up out of play. That'll go as a shot clock violation. And a very conservative approach on that possession for Oliver Ames. And you have to wonder if now they are really going to take their foot off the gas pedal with 90 points here on the road. Quite an impressive performance as Milford right now has Emma Lawrence on the bench. Katie Maeda also on the bench. Ferreira finds Borst. Borst's pass out to Mickelson. Gets plucked away. And a timeout is called for, stopping the clock with exactly 3 minutes to go. And your eyes are just fine. It is 90-27. Oliver Ames on top of Milford. Down the home stretch of this game we go when we come back next here on Milford TV. Under the 3-minute mark. And a passing clinic being put on now for Oliver Ames as it appears as though they're going to try to resist the opportunity to tack on to this lead. So they take the shot clock violation for the second straight possession. Stays at 90-27. Mickelson again second guessing herself on the three attempt. Barreto lets go an off balance shot, no good. And this will take us down inside of 2 minutes. Bourne just able to hold on to that one. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. And this time, the pass stolen by Chrissa Foley. She sends it up ahead, but into the waiting arms of the freshman Caroline Pepper. It's going to be one of the leading stories to come out of this game. 22 points. Under 90 seconds to go. Clear, Oliver Ames will not score again. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. They do release the shot this time. It rims out. Megan Holloran taking the shot. And meanwhile, Mickelson taking it all the way to the hole. 4 points in the game from Mickelson. Under a minute to go. Oliver Ames, after this game tonight, on the road again on Friday, taking on King Philip, which should be a good battle for those two schools who came into tonight's action tied for third place in the Kelly Rec standings. And then they'll be back at home for 2 straight against Canton and then Taunton. A couple of attempts underneath the basket for Tori Harney. Could not quite get the elevation. 34.1 seconds left. So this game just about in the books. Another tough one here at home for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. Had a good energy boost in the early seconds, but this Oliver Ames offense has been a sight to see. Nine different scorers in the game. Many of those scorers into double figures as they will now dribble up the floor for one final time. This will take us down to the final 10 seconds. And now 5 seconds to go. One more pass here, and they will just hold on to it. The final buzzer sounds, and that puts an end to an absolute drubbing here in the Milford gym tonight. 90 points for the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. They blow out Milford by a final score of 90-29, sending Milford to their 11th straight loss on the season. Oliver Ames, with the win, improves to 7-4 overall on the season. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game tonight, our director Rob O'Keefe and our camera operator Scott Crisafulli. And I am Tim Coet. That final score one final time, 90-29. Oliver Ames defeats the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.